you a fan of the Dragon Ball Super card game? If so, check out QueenCityGaming.com for sealed product, singles, and more. Just use promo code MafubaJar-10 to save 10% off your order every time.
Welcome back to the Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another awesome deck profile, and today we're going to be deck profiling my Zamasu deck, or Zamafu, however you want to say it. So it's pretty much a fused Zamasu deck here with all the awesome god cards and stuff, but we're adding a splash of fused Shroud of Mystery with this. So it's pretty much like a slow energy rampish control kind of deck, except during once you have 6 energy, you pretty much win the game. That's the whole plan of this deck anyways. So it does all the control stuff of gods and just all the aggro stuff in general. So it's a really interesting deck in general. And I really like how Goku Black had his somewhat time to shine during the set 2 era. And now during the set 3 era, even though it hasn't been like a huge meta thing, Fused Zamasu's time to shine has been here a little bit. So let me go ahead and explain the leader here, because it's been a while since I've profiled the Zamasu deck. So he is a blue god leader, and his active aim is once per turn choose one card in your life, place it in a drop, and if the card you place in the drop area was blue, which 56 of your cards in this deck are blue, so you're gonna hit it. You draw a card, and you awaken when his card is at 2 life or less, so no other leaders like that yet. And you draw 2 cards, and then we go to Absolute God Fused Zamasu. His permanent is that if damage is inflicted to your life, place 5 cards from the top of your deck in a drop area instead. 10 if you receive 2 damage, so 15 if it's triple, and if you're just having a really bad day, we receive a quadruple. Yeah, that's gonna be 20 cards. But what are the odds of you seeing a quadruple? So anyways here, what's really cool about this is that a lot of decks do like to play critical, and once you awaken, critical no longer matters. So that's cool, and when you attack, draw a card. So the whole thing is just to like fill up your drop area to have enough for your overwhelm of 10 that you need for your Fused Shroud of Mystery. So that's the whole idea of that. Now let's go ahead and get right into the battle cards here. The majorities are going to be gods. There's a few in here that aren't. And no, that was not intended to be a pun. Alright, so we run 4 copies of Supreme God Gosu. He's a 1-drop. And we search our top 3 for any god and add it to our hand. And then shuffle our deck, of course. So like I said, the majority of our battle cards here are going to be gods. So most of the time you're going to hit. I think out of like the 10-15 games I practiced with this, I only whiffed twice. So you're really not going to whiff often with Gosu. And with Gosu, I run 3 copies of Majin Buu, just a draw card. Nothing too special. Just trying to straighten that out here. The reason I only run 4 is because I personally don't feel like you need 4, and that's because you have Zamasu to help you draw anyways. Not to mention, this deck is kind of tightly packed. Alright, and next up, another god target search for Gosu is going to be 4 copies of Majin the Fire West Supreme Kai. So she's a 2-drop of blue, and she counts as an energy even when she's in the battle area. So it's almost like a searchable objection. So that's why we run 4 for her. Not to mention she has barrier, so stuff that your opponent would use to pop won't work on her. So that's really cool. This is like one of the big power plays that you use, because it helps you like play a free Whis, free Sensu Bean, whichever you need. So definitely very helpful. And next up for our super combo, run 4 copies of Powers Combined Kibito Kai. Now I played this over Piccolo, because with Zamasu you want the defense. Like, you don't want your opponent hitting you too often, especially once you're awakened. So that's why, even though I'm not guaranteed to draw if they combo out heavy, I could still just bounce a card they had their combo into their hand and reduce damage. So that's why I play him over Piccolo. But Piccolo is by no means bad. Alright. Next up here, 4 copies of Zamasu the Invincible. Now this is one of our kind of aggro-ish cards, because even though he has a 4-drop, if our leader card is Zamasu or Goku Black, his energy cost is reduced by 1. So he becomes a 3-drop in this deck. And he's indestructible, so nothing gets rid of him. No battle, no popping, no skills, nothing. Literally the only thing I can get rid of this guy is Zeno the Playing God. But other than that, currently nothing else can mess with an indestructible card. So he's a guaranteed 15 beater every turn to add pressure onto your opponent. So it's 15 that they can't do anything about. So really, really annoying to deal with. And next up for our 4 drops, we run 4 copy of Whis the Sacred Guard. This is going to be our blocker of the deck. And a 20k blocker is enough right there. It's pretty good. But its permanent is this card cannot be KO'd by your opponent's skills and does not leave the field due to skills. Now the wording on that was changed to due to your opponent's skills. So your skills can still remove this. So just I'll add that in quickly. But it's essentially barrier, but in a way slightly better. Because stuff that doesn't choose, like say Ultra Instinct Goku or the 5-drop Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, that still won't get around this. So in that aspect, it's slightly better. So it's a really, really good blocker. That, yeah, they can knock it out by battle, but it's just gonna be kind of hard with 20,000. Makes them have to drop resources. And next up here, I run 3 copies of Piccolo the Strategist. So at first, when this card was released in the dash packs, everyone thought it was horrible, but for God decks, he's actually pretty good. So he has critical and barrier, which is really awesome right there. And his activation is use up to one of the opponent's battle cards when the energy costs equal or less than your energy and KO it. Then for the duration of the game, negate this skill. So you play one Piccolo, use its skill, you can't use it again for the game, but if you play it on another Piccolo, you could use that skill. And I don't max this out like a lot of people would, because I don't want to play this Piccolo immediately when I have 4 energy. Because I want to save this to where I want to knock out something really big, and I can't because I'll have more energy. But having a critical and barrier is pretty good too. Alright, next up here to help with more spot removal, it's going to be just 2 copies of the Almighty Beam Fused Zamasu. He is also a 4-drop. There's a unit Patara there for 2 blue energy with Goku Black and Zamasu, but you're never going to use that. Because there's only 3 Goku Blacks here we play. And the auto is when you play this card, if your leader card is Zamasu, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of the deck. Any card stacked under it are placed in a drop area. So he's a good way for spot removal too, along with the Piccolo. And all he needs is just your leader to be Zamasu. So there's no like energy limit like there is with Piccolo to pop something, and it doesn't actually pop it, it just puts it underneath their deck. So that could be worse, better, and depending on the circumstance. Alright, and next up here I'm going to be running 2 copies of the Zamasu, the Alert God. Now some people I've seen playing 3 or 4 of this. I'm kind of iffy with this card here. So it's a 6-drop, it is evolve of 3 blue and 2 of any other card on top of a Zamasu. It's indestructible, so it's a 25 indestructible that's going to be constant pressure, so that's kind of good. And the auto is when this card attacks, if your leader card is Zamasu or Goku Black, you place 1 card from your hand in a drop area. If you do, negate that attack and negate this skill for the duration of the turn. So it's another way of negating, which is why you do need to at least play a little bit of this card. But the fact that it's 5 energy, and by the time you're at 5 energy, you're trying to do a lot more. But it's a good fallback in case you don't get what you need. So, again, I'm not a big fan of the card. I see people running like so many of this, which to me, there's better things you could be doing. But that's just my opinion. Alright, and now for the Goku Black cards that I'm talking about. Like I said, we only run 3. It's going to be 3 copies of Joyful Strike Goku Black. So this is one of the core pieces into our deck's functionality here. So it's a 6-drop, double strike, and the auto is when you play this card, if your leader card is Zamasu or Goku Black, now this wording is important here, you may inflict 2 damage to your life. If you do so, choose up to 6 of your energy and switch them to active mode. So because it says inflict and not take 2 life, and its permanent says if damage is inflicted to your life, you could still mill 10 cards with this effect and you still get to retap because this says inflict. So, like I said, it's the mill 10, it's to have us a guaranteed few ready to go. Then yeah, once I'm done with the profile, I'm going to show you like the ideal combos to have with this guy here. But no, this is an integral part. If you want to run 4 of them, I understand. I tried 4 of them, but I found that this was too many. I was opening with them too often, which opening them with them isn't terrible, but not ideal either. Alright, and along with that, I also run 1 copy of Infinite Force Fused Zamasu. Now, this is just like a failsafe in case your combo here with a 6-drop and Few does not end up happening. So he's a 10-drop, which is scary. But his unit Potara is 3 blue and 4 of any other color on top of a Goku Black and a Zamasu. He's indestructible. And his auto is when his card attacks, choose up to 1 card each of your opponent's battle area. They can only be battle cards, so no field cards. Energy, life, and hand, and place him at the bottom of the deck in any order. So he's an auto that just guarantees them to take life every time you swing with him. And he's indestructible too, so there's nothing they can do about this guy. But like I said, I just run him as a failsafe. Like, you're almost never gonna play this card. At least you shouldn't, because your combo with Joyful Strike and Fuse should be working. But obviously, in card games, things don't always go the way we expect them to, especially with a game like Dragon Ball where we have life. That's the cards that we put away. So, yeah, as I said, this is just a failsafe. That's not a bad one, though. Like, this is pretty much a final countdown if you're able to pull it off. Because with this guy here, you will win eventually. Alright, and for our last battle card here, this is the other key part of our strategy here. This is the whole point of our deck is going to be 4 copies of Fuse Shrouded Mystery. So he is an overwhelm of 10, and we have to pay 6 energy. So that works with our Joyful Strike since it gets to retap our energy. He has Double Strike, and the auto is when you play this card using Overwhelm, your opponent cannot activate skills other than their leader card until the beginning of your next turn. So for you guys who do not know this, because we didn't know this at first either, everything in this game is a skill. The battle card skills, extra cards, negates, everything is a skill. Everything in this game counts as a skill. So this pretty much tells your opponent that you cannot do anything whatsoever when they attack you with double strikers, and during their next turn they can't do anything either. So that's really, really amazing. So even if you fail to knock them out with the few and Joyful Strikes, you're pretty much cutting off their limbs with this too. So they're not going to do a whole lot to you. So that is the point of this. Like I said, I'll show you the ideal combo to do after I'm done with the profile, because we're almost there. All right, now for our extra cards, going to be running 4 copies of Sensu Beam. If you're playing blue, you got to play this card. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So play 1, you choose a battle card against 5,000, then you get to retap 2 of your energy. Alright, next up here I play 4 copies of Objection just because we want to get to 6 energy as soon as possible. I tried it with 3, because that's what a lot of decks do, and it wasn't enough. Like, I did not see this card at all at 3, so I personally, 4 works best for me. If you don't like 4 and want to do 3, that's okay too. I'm just telling you guys what worked ideally for me. And last but not least, gonna be running 4 copies of Weezy Coercion. Of course, because we need our negates. We need to take life, but we need to take it on our terms, not on our opponents. So that does it for the deck profile. And I'll go ahead and show you guys that quick ideal combo. Like, this isn't how it's usually gonna happen, but this is just the way you want it to happen. So let's say you're at 3 life and you have 6 energy. The ideal thing is to play the first Joyful Strike to take the 2 life to your hand and retap the 6 so you don't have to mill right away. You go ahead and awaken, draw 2, and if you have another Joyful Strike in hand, you go ahead and play that one as well, mill the 10, and then retap the 6, and then you've definitely met your requirements for Fuse, Shrine, and Mystery. So you have 3 double strikers, and one of them that just negate all your opponent's skills and they can't even activate it. So that's the ideal way, but the way it usually happens for me is that I'm already awakened by the time I activate the first Joyful Strike. So I end up having to mill 20 cards at least to get the few out. But like I said, it is a pretty consistent thing. By turn 6, I do always hit this. So yeah, consistency isn't a problem. It's just trying to get to 6 energy, because even though with our ramps of Objection and the Majin to Fire, it is still kind of taxing to try to get to 6 energy, especially without much this game is accelerated. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible, and it could definitely catch your opponent off guard. Which, like I said, once you pull this off, you pretty much have won. So it's pretty much a countdown. Once you get to that point, unless they pull some weird main anime protag stuff, then you've pretty much won the game. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my Fused Zamasu deck profile. It's a personal favorite, man. I love messing with Zamasu and Goku Black so much. They're just such fun archetypes in general. And they have proven their little glimmers of shine throughout the formats. Like I said, this time I feel it's few Zamasu's time to sign. And that's awesome. Wow, I just completely butchered that up. Few Zamasu's time to shine. What is wrong with me? Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And with that, you have been released.